Sometime last year, I was working with a gentleman who was trying to raise money to grow his business. He had been in business for about 5 years, and it was very clear it was time to move the business to the next level. Business was performing fantastic, right? But we had a problem. So this gentleman claimed the business had turnovers in excess of 200 million naira. At that time, about $200,000, right? But then the challenge we had, even though the pitch was good, a couple of people who he approached, a lot of people in the diaspora, some investors, formal investors, were keen to invest in the business. Unfortunately, they ended up not giving him any money. And the big problem was, even though this guy claimed his business does 200 million and above in revenues every year, there was no way to prove it. This guy was not keeping books. There were no financial statements that could show anywhere, right? Even what he had on his bank statements was not up to the 200 million. And that's understandable because a lot of the business was done in cash. But the crux of the matter was this guy could not raise any money because he was not seen as credible enough. And the reason he was not seen as credible enough was that there was no evidence. That all the money he says his business makes, there was no evidence anywhere. And the reason was he was not keeping books, he was not keeping any records. So there was no evidence. I have a second account, which is actually quite worrying. I was a guest on a radio show about 2 years back, and it was a series, so I appeared a couple of times. And there was this call that came in from the audience, and this guy said he'd been running his business for quite some time, but that he feels that his business is under spiritual attack. That he makes a lot of sales, he has a lot of loyal customers, his shop is always busy. He has two shops, shop is always busy. But at the end of the year, he cannot hold on to any money. There's no profit from the business. So his business is under spiritual attack, and that there are worms, there are spiritual worms and ants that are eating. So the first time I heard this, I thought this was somebody who was not quite okay. But what I found, which was pretty shocking, was that this is quite a widely held view, particularly among small informal businesses, that a business can come under spiritual attack and you can start looking for monies even though your business is doing well. I am not discounting spirituality. I'm not saying that there are no spiritual problems. What I'm saying is that you cannot claim that something is a spiritual problem when it is not. That is what I'm saying. And one thing is very clear when I start to diagnose these businesses, when I started to ask him a couple of questions, it became very clear. He doesn't keep books. And a couple of them too who came up with this whole thing, they don't keep books. They assume that because they are seeing cash in their business, that the business is doing well, right? And cash and profit are two totally separate things. A business may be unhealthy and crumbling, and you still have cash. It's just that your cash is depleting. You may just wake up one day and find out you don't have money to pay suppliers, you don't have money to pay your rent, right? So this is a big handicap, a big weakness that many small businesses have, not keeping adequate financial records. It's actually even worse in this day and time where there are all sorts of apps on your phone that you can download, accounting software that you can use to record transactions on your phone, on your phone, right? It is easier said than done, right? In my first degree, I studied engineering, and then I made a pivot to business and finance and became a chartered certified accountant. I know how it feels to see business from the outside. One thing I find, for example, is that many business owners do not know how to read a financial statement. So you know what they say an illiterate person is. An illiterate person is somebody who cannot read and write. If you are running a business, illiteracy means that you cannot read a financial statement. Because if you cannot read a financial statement, then what is there? The financial statements tell you the health of your business. They monitor key metrics in your business. It's like you're flying blind if you don't know how to read a financial statement. And in my career, I've seen very educated people, very talented people, engineers, doctors, lawyers, right? These very educated people, unfortunately, financially illiterate, right? They couldn't find their way around the financial statement. And I think it's unfair if in this day and age you run a business, you're not keeping records, you're not keeping books, and you cannot read a financial statement. For me personally, financial statement is You can already see the way I'm smiling because I can tell a lot about a business just by reading their financial statements. I don't need to come to your office. I don't need to know you. I don't need to see your MD. Just by looking at your financial statements, I can tell you a lot about your business, right? And that is the power of financial structure. Some people say, I want to structure my business. I want to structure my business. I want to structure my business. What many of them are saying is that operationally, they want to structure their business. But operational structure is difficult. In fact, I dare say impossible without financial structure. Financial structure is the backbone, is the foundation of any business. If you don't have financial structure, any operational structure you're building on top will not work. Will not work. So when you hear people talk about structure, 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 where it starts is you have to build in the financial structure. You are capturing key financial information. You understand the health and performance of your business because you are tracking the financial data. It is on top of the financial structure that you layer the operational structure, the organizational structure. If you look at big companies, for example, the CFO is different from the CEO. Whenever a company is under prosecution for fraud, guess who they typically arrest? The CFO must be arrested, CFO and CEO. There's a reason those two functions are separated on an operational level, and it's all built on the finance. So if you structure your business around following the money, tracking the money, there is no way your business will not be properly structured. If you have financial structure, you have exactly what it takes to achieve operational structure. So whether it's the whole thing about you're running a business, you feel your business is doing well, but then some things are not making sense. You cannot find monies, you are not profitable and things like that. So because you are not measuring anything, right? When you don't measure anything, you cannot understand that thing. So that's why people just attribute it to a spiritual attack, right? When you're not measuring, you can't understand what it is you're managing, whatever business it is you think you're managing. And even though your business is small today, the moment you will need help to grow that business, and you start to tout numbers like every year I make 100 million naira, every year I make $1 million. If you cannot show your records, that thing you are saying will not be credible. People will not believe you. So you would end up sabotaging yourself because you did not do one very simple thing. You were not organizing your finances. Organizing your finances is a key weakness for many businesses. When your finances are not organized, when you're not tracking anything, when you're not measuring anything, when you're not monitoring anything, you will not be able to set solid prices. You will not understand your margins. In an economy like this, where inflation is high and people are pinching their budgets, you would be very poor at managing your costs, right? If you have business partners, it's going to be very difficult for you to run that arrangement because people will not trust you if they cannot see how you are measuring and tracking their money. So financial discipline, financial structure is at the bottom of many things. And like somebody who was an outsider, somebody who was a layman before I got into finance, right? I I teach these things in ways that many lay people tend to understand and appreciate because I used to be that person. I used to be that person who would see a financial statement and be blank and be like, what are these accountants? What are they talking about? What do they mean by cash is different from profit? All those technical things. So the benefit I have is that even though I can speak with that level of sophistication because I have attained that certification, I'm still able to relate with small and independent business owners so that they understand how to organize their finances. So if you have a business or you're about to start a business or you're running a business and you want to really prepare yourself for growth, for scaling that business, for structuring that business, you want to raise money at another time. You want to reduce the stress of always thinking about where your money is. There's all these sales coming in, but you cannot try, you don't know exactly where things are going. You don't know if there's fraud in your business, if there's theft in your business, you don't know if your business is profitable enough. You cannot account for many things. If that is you, then this course I released just last Saturday is exactly what you need. In very layman's terms, I'm going to show you, you're going to learn in that course how to organize your finances. No matter the kind of business you run, no matter the size of the business. The interesting thing is that accounting is a universal language in any business, whether it's oil and gas, telecoms, or you sell sweets, or you run a school, no matter what it is. Organizing your finances, accounting is a science, right? So that's why when people don't understand it, they're like, my business is under spiritual attack. No, it's not. You can solve spiritual problems with spiritual problems, but you cannot solve a business problem. For crying out loud, you're not doing something right. So let's fix the basics before we start looking for spiritual solutions, right? So if you want to really learn right? Without all the jargon and all the technicality. You want to really learn what it takes to organize the finances of a business, so that even when you have issues like with the tax person, with the tax man or something, you are prepared because your business finances are organized. You want to properly structure your business. You live abroad, but you have a business back home, and you're worried about, are they stealing from me and things like that. If you can achieve financial structure, you've solved 80% of the problem. So if you want to learn any of these things, I want you to join my free Telegram group. It's known as the BMG Hub. That is where I coach and mentor entrepreneurs. It's a free group, right? So if you are a member in that group, you would have access, you would see the details to this course. The course is only available to level 2 members and up. So if you're a member of the BMG Academy, you would have access to the course. If you don't understand anything about what I'm saying, it's because you're not in the BMG universe. So follow the link on your screen right now. Join the BMG Hub. Find that course. It's called Organizing Your Business Finances, how to track and follow the money in your business. You take that course, and the way you run your business will never be the same. The way your understanding of your business and business generally will totally change, right? Because once you can speak the language of business, which is typically accounting, because accounting is more like you're taking the vitals of your business. Once you can understand that, the way you run your business is really going to change. So follow the screen or follow the link on your screen right now. Join the private Telegram group. You would have access to the details for that course. If you're a level 2 member, if you're an academy member, then you can go in and watch the course. Until my next special video, my name is John Paul Iwuoha. I'm a management consultant and business strategy specialist. What it means to the man on the street is that I make it easier and faster for people to start, build, and grow their businesses. See you next time. Cheers.